Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Tuesdays with Suzanne. Today, we are going to talk about how to find calm in chaos, how to find calm for yourself in times where things are chaotic, where the unknown is rearing its head, where things don't seem to be working the way you planned them or wanted them to. All the things that happen in our lives that are so challenging, and particularly at a time like this where there are so many unknowns as we go into year number 2 with, actually we're entering year number 3 of the pandemic. So the thing I wanted to speak about today is something very near and dear to my heart. And that was that when I woke up this morning at about 4:30 in the morning Eastern and couldn't get back to sleep. I had something I was thinking about and ruminating over and over and over again. I finally got up and sat down and did the exercise that I'm about to show you, so that in the midst of my mental turbulence and frustration and not knowing what to do, I was able to find a place of calm, and in doing so, a place of clarity. Okay? So what does this look like? Number one, when we are in a world or in a circumstance or in a situation you suddenly find yourself in that is chaotic, that is turbulent, that is, it throws you off your center. How can you return to your center more fully and easily? So across the years, I've done a lot of traveling. And one of the things that I have found that helps me to reground when I have a lot of unknown around me is to have just one or two things around me that are grounding, that are things that say to me, here you are. So one of my favorite ones is to have a cup of tea, chai, cacao, whatever it is. I'm not really a coffee drinker. But to have a favorite mug that I sit with, and I can have the sensation of its warmth on my hands. I can sit with it quietly. I can hold it against my chest or my belly. And I travel with a mug, actually. That's a familiar mug to me. So no matter where I go, I have a way of slowing down and tuning in with something wonderful. Many of you may remember the story I blogged about years ago where I got to Russia, and speaking no Russian, I ended up in this airport where no one spoke any English. And it unnerved me a bit. I had to really pull my center back and ground and fill. But the thing that really topped it off, which is sort of hilarious, is that the only familiar thing in the entire airport was a Starbucks. And so I marched myself right into that Starbucks eventually, sat down, got chai, and just sat there. And as I sat and breathed and sipped and sank back inside, began to breathe more deeply, the answers to what I needed started to show up. As long as I was dancing back and forth and going in and out and trying to find the person that was supposed to pick me up and not knowing how to talk to anyone because I didn't speak Russian and people looked dangerous and I had so much luggage, and it was a whole raft of things that were pulling on me and pulling me off my center. But when I sat down, the mug, the tea, said to me, here you are, here you are. The second thing that I did was that I breathed. And I breathed in a particular way. I breathed in a way that we've practiced before together, but we can do it again today. And that is the breath that Emily Conrad taught me 30 years ago, called the Lunar Breath. And it's a very simple breath. You breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. Your mouth is just relaxed but closed, gently closed. And you let your exhale be slightly longer than the inhale. And what this appears to do as you inhale and exhale in this way, relaxing your throat as you go, it allows your parasympathetic nervous system to be activated. And the parasympathetic nervous system is your rest and digest function. So when it's the part of the nervous system that says, it's okay, you're going to be all right. And so in the midst of a storm, you can find that sense of, I'm going to be all right. And in doing so, it brings you back to your creativity, whatever you need, whatever steps you need to take care of yourself. It's quite beautiful to do and to play with. So take a moment now. If you want to, you can be like me. You can think of a circumstance that really has you kind of topsy-turvy that you're struggling with. Bring it to mind. Notice how it feels in your body. You got your feet on the floor. You're relaxing back in whatever's supporting you. Let your eyes gently close. And then pay attention. Be curious about your breath. Inhaling and exhaling slowly and easily. Normal pace. With a slightly longer exhale than your inhale. Okay? Good. And as you breathe, your eyes remaining closed, notice, be curious about what it feels like to be you as all of your attention is simply on your breath. And your breath is a breath that's calming, clarifying, and supportive. You may notice that your breathing lengthens, deepens, simply by following it and relaxing more and more deeply inside. Good, good. And when you're ready, allowing your eyes to gently open so that your inner landscape can connect more deeply with your external landscape. Yeah. And if you have your cup of tea, you may have a sip of it. Yeah. And note, what does it feel like to be you right now? Having found something familiar, having ignited a breath that activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest part of who we are as human beings, which brings you back to a centered, creative, calmer place, and clearer. As I sat with this breath earlier this morning, I came to an incredible clarity and knowledge about what I needed to do in order to step into the step that was optimal for me in my life. Yeah. And I hope the same for you. And remember, by the way, one of the fun things about this breath is you can do it with your eyes closed, and it takes you into that centered place a little more quickly. But honestly, I have done this particular breath, eyes open, in circumstances that were pretty turbulent, and it actually helped not only me calm down, but everyone around me. Everyone around me. So, use it, play with it. Let me know how it works out for you and what kinds of things you notice. And enjoy.